So, if any of you have listened to my introduction videos about my life experiences, you would know that I was raised by a narcissistic father. He alienated me from my oldest child. Um, he also turned everybody that he could against me. I think the terminology for that is flying monkeys, right? But he was able to effectively do that because he has done that to other people in the past, including my mother. Okay. But I stopped talking to him about 2 years ago. Um, no contact. But yesterday I had to go pick up some money from his house for my daughter. He kicked my daughter out last year as soon as she was over 18, to move his wife and her oldest daughter in. Her oldest daughter, I think she's about 20 years older than me, right? But he told my daughter at the time when he kicked her out that he would give her $600 a month just to kind of help her out, right? That didn't happen. And the thing with the whole situation, I know it was control, and I know it was to hurt me, because especially in the economy today, you got to be a heartless person to kick a child that just graduated high school. She didn't even graduate high school, but I'm just saying, of age, okay, out of your house with nothing, okay, heartless, right? But my dad didn't want her over at his house, and her dad didn't want her over at his house. Of course I'm going to take her, because I was the only one that really wanted her in the first place, right? But just due to the situation, I know it was about control, right? But so I had to go pick up money for her from his house yesterday. So I park on this street and walk to his house. I don't know, something told me to do that, so I did that, right? As I approach the house, I had asked my daughter to instruct them to put the money in an envelope and put it underneath the mat on the porch, okay? Well, they did do that. However, my father was sitting outside, waiting for me to get there. And he's a person that does not even deserve a hello from me, because he will misconstrue the hello, flip it around to something that it wasn't even anything, right? Just manipulating all of it. He doesn't deserve anything from me, okay? But I was just taken aback by how much he has fallen apart in the last couple of years. He is definitely aging fast here. He is 81 years old. He had an accident drinking and driving a long time ago, messed up his knee, got a knee replacement, but he stood up on a cane, just real frail, looked sickly like, okay? And I have mixed feelings about that. When somebody like that has been feeding off of your energy your entire life, it's kind of gratifying to see them falling apart like that. I mean, because the more he falls apart, the more knowledge I'm gaining. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, it's going to boomerang right back around and circle back around. You can't do bad to people and expect nothing to come back to you in return, right? So it's kind of satisfying to see him in that condition, but it's also really sad because he is somebody that has never met God before. He's been on this earth for 81 years and does not believe in God, doesn't think God exists, and it's evident with his appearance that is really what he thinks and knows, right? But he is very unaware of the spiritual side of life, He's oblivious to it, and I'm not. And I am very aware that his wife is a witch. I mean, the first thing I saw when I walked onto the porch was sunflowers, like, displayed in a very odd way. And it's just, it alerted me to something off, okay? But I know she's a witch. I mean, she's one of those people that talks all the time. She talks to hear herself talk. And I honestly think it is spell work that she's doing. She has to continuously talk to keep the spell going, right? I can say a lot about that situation. He and my mother were in the process of a divorce when he met his wife now, okay? He moved into kind of like a retirement community apartment complex, and she and her daughter, who are both living in my father's house now, were living in this apartment complex at the time, and they were neighbors with my father, okay? But there will be people in this life that you will meet that are in interesting situations, and you don't know what they've done to get themselves in that situation in the first place, okay? And she and her daughter were in that situation. You know, you're living in kind of a low budget type area. She has no income. She's been able to save absolutely nothing. I mean, her choices in her life got her in that situation that she was in. And then she meets my father, who was making quite a bit of good money, because I'm just going to keep it real. The devil will reward those who work for him, okay? But during the divorce process, my mother wanted to keep the house. Now it's worth almost $1 million, right? But at the end of it, my mother decided just to walk away from everything and leave it all. She just wanted to be done. And I got to that point myself too with him. Just walk away. It's not even worth it. Everything is materialistic. Materialistic things come and go, and that's not what's important in this life. What's important in this life is a connection with God and spirituality, okay? But, you know, my dad ended up keeping the house. This broke neighbor, you know, wanted to kind of worm her way into the situation, and she successfully did, and manipulated my dad and did some spell work on him, and, you know, ended up marrying him, and, you know, caused enough problems to make me not even want to be around them. You know, she don't need to get it twisted. She didn't do anything to make me leave. My father was the one that made me leave, okay? But she can think whatever she wants. But long story short, I'm not there. My daughter's not there. And she constructed that so her daughter and her can live there. And then when my dad passes, she can get the house, okay? I've learned over life that you really should not date somebody that is beneath you. And I mean that in a lot of different ways, with physical aspects of the life and spiritual aspects of the life, because they will bring you down to their level. So the fact that she's got absolutely nothing to bring to the table and he has everything, I mean, I'm just waiting for it to implode, because it will, all right? But knowing all of this and seeing how much my father has just, I mean, decayed would be a good word. He's just falling apart. It makes me feel sad too at the same time, because his choices in his life have gotten him to this point. And that's the whole premise of what I wanted to talk about. You know, in this life, you need to learn how to forgive people. There's a lot of people that have demons making their decisions for them, okay? And that is really what has happened with my father. I don't even know if he's really there or not. I've seen the devil himself in my father. You know, when a person becomes one with the demon that is attached to them, if it's been operating in that person long enough, I'm talking 20, 30, 40, 50 years, that person has become that demon. That demon is that person. That person is more than likely no longer there. Okay? But you need to forgive people, because people nowadays are absolutely oblivious to what is going on. This is a spiritual war that we are all in, and Satan wants your soul, But if you can't forgive somebody, don't expect God to forgive you at all. And I think forgiveness, if you don't love yourself, you're not going to be able to forgive somebody else, okay? I think forgiveness and self-love go hand in hand. And just like another thing, so I follow this Reddit adoption thread, okay? Because I'm adopted, and I see a lot of people that have quite a bit of animosity towards their biological parents for giving them up for adoption. And a lot of these people will not forgive the biological parents for trying to put the child in a better situation, okay? And that's also forgiveness. It's like people don't see what somebody else has gone through in their life to make them do and say what they do and say now, okay? You've got to learn how to forgive. As gratifying as it is, it's also very painful for me to see my father like that. And I've tried to talk to him about it because I have to. Because if I don't say something to him, I'm going to be held liable for that. All right? But you just, I don't know what to say or do to make somebody acknowledge the fact that you need to learn how to forgive in this life. But all I can say is that you need to be able to do that. Like, some of the people in your life are sent by the devil himself to destroy you. A lot of the relationships that a lot of people have nowadays are demonic relationships. Who has really done the the work on themselves to make their self-worth higher? How many people have actually acknowledged the fact that they've been through a lot and accepted it for what it is, and have worked through their trauma to become a better person? How many people have really done that? I don't really see it very many people that have done that, Like, if you are somebody that does not know how to forgive, and you are somebody that cannot work through trauma, and you are unaccepting of the things that have happened to you, I don't think you love yourself. And if you're that type of person, because I've been there, I'm preaching to the choir at this point. I've been this person. I avoided working on my shit for a long time, and all it's done is cause me problems. But if you are somebody that's done that, why are you even looking to be in a relationship? That's a real honest question to ask yourself. You shouldn't be looking for a relationship. You need to be looking for a connection with God before you be looking for a relationship. And that's where the demons and Satan come and get you too. When they know when you're not working on yourself, they know when you're running from your problems. So of course they're going to send a problematic person to destroy you even more. It happens all the time. People get in these relationships with people that they think they know, and they turn out to be somebody completely different. It's because that person was sent from the devil. And if you can't forgive that person, because basically you had a play in what was happening in your life, right? Had you worked through your trauma, you would not be in a situation with this person in the first place. So is it really their fault? No, it's not their fault. It's your fault for running from your problems. I gotta run into the store. I will be right back. Sorry about that. I had to go. I'm running errands today. my whole schedule changed this morning, so it kind of threw me off with everything. But I'm running errands now, so sorry about that interruption. But just to get back to it, you know, don't expect God to do things for you that you cannot do for other people. You know, and that also ties into forgiveness too, you know. A lot of the, I'm going to say probably about 95% of the people out here are lost, right? We live in a world that lacks spiritual guidance and foundation, and it's very, very evident. And it's really sad to see everything just falling apart like this, especially when you're somebody that is awake, right? You also need to know, like, aside from some of these people being sent by the devil, what is meant for you will be with you. You know, I know it's hard being adopted. You have a lot of questions. You know, I did go through a phase where I was upset that my biological mom gave me up. I didn't understand it. You know, I always wondered what life would be like had I been with her, right? I mean, those are normal emotions and feelings to have, you know, but you've got to realize, like, that situation, you were not meant to be raised by that specific individual. You don't know why. God knows why. He knows everything. And you just need to trust that He made the best decision for you. I notice a lot of adoptees, you know, if they've had a rough life, they blame their adopted parents for their choices. And that's not right either. You go kill somebody and blame your biological parents. Oh, well, it was their fault because I was adopted. I mean, make that make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But they blame the problems and the heartaches that they've experienced in this life on somebody that wasn't there. You know, I mean, what is the other option? You staying with somebody that doesn't want you, or you stay being raised by somebody that does not have their life together. You stay with somebody that has a drug problem. I mean, you don't know why. You just need to accept that is what happened, and there's a reason for that, and stop staying in these pity parties about it, you know? I mean, the only other option is your parents could have ended you. I mean, there's no other options. If they can't keep you, they're either gonna adopt you out or make you not exist at all, you know? And it's sad to see how so many people get stuck in that, I wouldn't say it's a thought process, but that level, and they never get themselves out of it. You know, what if you did stay with your adopted parents and they ended up, you know, being unable to care for both of you, themselves and you, and then it caused a whole world of problems, and they got into an abusive relationship because, you know, they needed to care for you, and that caused even more problems. I mean, there are just so many variables and what ifs in this situation. Like, you have got to learn how to forgive. When you can learn how to forgive yourself, you're able to forgive other people. I would say maybe if you spend some time alone, that's where you're going to find God. You've got to rid yourself of all of the distractions. I mean, and that's really what this life is about. Satan wants to create enough distractions with job and work and stress and kids and deadlines and time to make you not meet God. And not meet God to meet yourself and your purpose, okay? You know, when you don't forgive and you're holding all that bitterness and animosity and anger inside, you're projecting it in areas that it should not be projected into. So when you're doing that, you're opening up more doors to sin, basically. And that's also where the forgiveness comes in. But I just wanted to get on here and I've just been thinking about how to present this in the last few days, and what I saw with my father yesterday is really affecting me on a whole bunch of different levels. And when it comes down to it, I do forgive him because I see what's operating through him, and I can acknowledge where he's coming from with the choices that he's made. You know, I think he's held on to the poverty mentality this whole time, and it's caused him to be very selfish. I mean, he was active military. You don't know if that's MK Ultra shit going on either. I mean, I see it for what it is. You know, once you see God, he gifts you the Holy Spirit, and then that enables you to see yourself and accept yourself and grow into the person you're supposed to be, right? So then you're able to acknowledge the pitfalls of other people and accept it for what it is to forgive them, okay? But I think forgiveness is a strong basis and foundation with God and what he wants for you. You know, he gave you free will to acknowledge him or not, you know. And I hope as we are coming to the end here, I mean, what if the doomsday clock was actually when Jesus Christ returns? I mean, has anybody ever thought about that? Like, we are creeping up on the very end here, and I hope more people are able to find God and get in touch with themselves and grow. Because when this is all said and done, you're going to really wish that you had made some better decisions if you end up in the lake of fire, you know? But I just want to just speak from my own experiences with forgiveness, I think. Hopefully somebody can benefit from what I said. But yeah, it's really interesting. You've got to trust in God. So, because he knows all, and he knows what's good, and he's a very just God. So if you got people walking around here doing all this bad shit and they're never getting anything back, I would be scared towards the end of my life. Like my father, he's done all of this wrong his whole entire life to everybody else, and I'm scared for him. I really truly am. Because it would be terrifying to die and have God say he never knew you. You know? And I just worry about that for him. But I think if he was able to find God, he would be able to find himself, and he would have been able to forgive and make better decisions. You know, and I hope somebody can gain something from what I've said. You've got to forgive your birth parents, regardless of if you were adopted or not. You know, they're human beings. People make mistakes. Some of us grow from those mistakes, and some of us run from them, and some of us just act like we don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you know? But you've got to learn how to forgive people. Because once you can acknowledge the fact that you were holding on to animosity towards somebody, that is the first step in learning how to forgive. And then once you can forgive, you can start learning how to accept, and the acceptance turns into love, and then that feeling of love can manifest into everything good. But yeah, so I'm totally running errands, but yeah, I just wanted to say that. So I will try to record another video pretty soon here. I'm going to go to the pool. I've got so much shit to do. It's just never ending, literally. But distractions. Let's maintain the ship here before it sinks, you know? I have been under an extreme amount of spiritual warfare in the last few years, and I am tired, you know, and that's how I know it's spiritual warfare. I know it is, especially in this day and age, like when you are really walking with God, for God, and living your life for Him, you're going to feel the weight of the world literally all over on you, right? And I am tired, but what you got to do, you just got to keep powering through it, dude. Just keep going. Keep going. That's all you can do. Today's a new day. You got another chance to make different decisions, and just go for it, you know? Don't stay bitter and sad about shit. Just let it go. It's a new day. It's a new day, new start. Do whatever you got to do different today. But I hope somebody out there learns how to forgive. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys have a good day. I will talk with you soon. Bye.